Everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Winds. So we skipped the conversation that we had with Dr. Matsumoto because we've seen it already, and now we are with the rest of the guys, and we have two options here. So we've got, I'm worried about Okita, or it's none of my business, but we are worried about Okita. What were Okita and Dr. Matsumoto doing? Was Okita going to talk to the doctor about his cough? He was coughing an awful lot lately, and now that I thought about it, was he all right? I decided to follow them. Huh? Unfortunately, I'd waited too long, and by the time that I made my way outside, they were gone. I think they went this way.
おや、雪村君、誰かを探しているんですか?
Shimada, have you seen Okita and the doctor?
沖田君たちなら中庭の方に行ったようですが。
Thank you.
急ぎすぎて転ばないよう気をつけてください。
Yes, goodbye. I saw him walk off, and it got me thinking. The courtyard. Should I try and catch up, or should I go around the back to reach the courtyard before they did? We're gonna go around. I ducked onto the narrow path that ran around the back, and I soon found myself at the courtyard. I hid myself in the shadows, waiting. Okita and the doctor appeared only moments after I hid silently.
結論から言おう。お前さんの病は老害だ。
For just a second, my heart stopped. A shiver ran down my spine, and I suddenly felt very, very cold.
なんだ。やっぱりあの有名な死病ですか。
Okita has.
でも、面と向かって言われると、さすがに困ったな。
老害の一番の薬は西洋だ。新選組を離れて精のつくものを食べてゆっくり体を休めなきゃいかん。
それはできません。
そうせんと体は悪くなるばかりだぞ。今はそうやって平気なふりができても、いずれ布団から起き上がることすらできなくなる。
じゃあその時までここにいますよ。血を吐きながら、それでも刀を取ります。
なぜそれほどまでここにいたいんだね。
僕は新選組の剣ですから。新選組の前に立ちふさがる敵を切る。ただそれだけなんですよ。
お前さんの覚悟は分かった。
Okita sounded cheery, but I was listening in a state of shock. Okita is going to die? I felt like I wanted to faint, but I stayed strong and remained standing.
先生、近藤さんたちには言わないでくださいよ。約束ですからね。
まあ、どうしても言えないことってのはあるだろうな。私もあの子に打ち明けていないことがあるんだ。高堂さんが上位派の過激浪士連中と行動を共にしてるかもしれん。なんてな。とてもじゃないが伝えられんよ。
The news of Okita's illness had me so scattered, I almost cried out at this new piece of intelligence. My father, working with nationalists? There was suddenly someone behind me. A hand slipped over my mouth before I could react, and a freezing sensation made my spine shiver.
静かにしていろ。
It was a calm, cool voice that I'd heard many times before, although never from quite so close. Saito? My body relaxed. The body behind me was Saito, not some anonymous assailant.
そのまま動くな。宗司は気配に悟い。
I nodded my head as much as I dared. His hand over my mouth made me too nervous to breathe, Saito's presence next to me was silent and sharp, like a blade in the night. It seemed like hours passed before Okita and Matsumoto finally left.
斉藤さんの起点がなければ危ないところでした。
Yamazaki? How long was he? No, something told me that would be a foolish question. He was probably watching the whole time. Sorry. If you hadn't stopped me, Saito, I probably would have given myself away.
いや、俺の方こそぶしつけな真似をしてしまってすまなかった。掃除に気づかれずに済んだのはあんたのおかげだ。礼を言う。
Oh, no, not at all. There was the briefest hint of a smile in his eyes as he spoke, and then it disappeared.
それで、掃除のことだが、先ほど話していた病の件に関しては、聞かなかったことにしてくれ。
He wasn't asking me to keep my mouth shut per se, but rather to forget what I'd seen and heard had ever happened. But why?
あの方が病に倒れるとなれば、内外に与える影響が大きすぎます。それに、老師たちが勢いづくだけでなく、局長や副長にもご心配をかけるでしょうから。
He was right. Even I could understand that. But I couldn't forget the sight of Okita smiling. Even with the seriousness of this news.
病に関しては我々が対処する。あんたが気にすべきことではない。
But...
関わるなと言っているのだ。いいな。
At the end of the day, I was still only a guest. The sad reminder resurfaced once again. I may live among the Shinsengumi, but I wasn't one of them. Saito's words made that very clear. Suddenly I felt cold, as if a cold gust of wind blew through me, draining all the heat from my body. I was all alone. Okay, I think I can go ahead and skip up from here. Well, we didn't end up skipping a whole lot. Sometime after the headquarters was moved to Nishi Hongwanji Temple, a visitor had arrived. His name was Dr. Ryojin Matsumoto, and he'd come to the Shinsengumi base under the pretense of performing physical exams on the warriors. During his visit, however, it came to light that Okita had contracted tuberculosis. September 1865. Oh, my bad. Not June. September. A few months after his fruitful visit, the last hot, lingering breath of summer enveloped the town. It's so hot. Summers in Kyoto were much more humid than in Edo. The stagnant air left you feeling sticky and sweat-pooled. Even so, all the captains were dutifully performing their appointed tasks. I think I saw Nagakura and Harada training in the practice room earlier. And Inoue just headed out to town on some errands. That meant the only one left in the quarters reserved for the leaders was me. While I was considering what to do with my free time in the afternoon... Huh? I sensed someone passing through the hallway just outside my room. Perhaps Inoue had returned from his trip. I got up to slide the door open, intending to ask if he needed any help. I looked down the hallway. Oh, Yamazaki. I figured he'd go report something to Hichikata or something, but... Just as this thought came to mind, Yamazaki turned away from the direction the commander's room was located. Everyone should be out of the compounds. Did he not know that? I didn't know what his business in this wing was, but I felt I had to tell him that everyone was out at the moment, so I followed him. He stopped in front of a specific room, glancing around to verify there was no one else in the area, and silently slid the door open. Wait, that's Okita's room. Seeing him, I suddenly remembered what Yamazaki's official job was. In addition to scouring the city for information, he had to monitor the movements of the members of the Shinsengumi and report back to Hijikata. Maybe I I had a horrible feeling I wasn't supposed to have witnessed him going into Okita's room. I froze in place, uncertain as to if I should leave the area quickly. I nearly shrieked when he popped out of the room in front of me, frowning.
どうして後をつけてきた？特別な理由でもあるのか？ そう驚かないでくれないか。君が怯える必要はないはずだ。
But, why aren't you surprised to see me? Because he knew you were following him. I mean, I wasn't making a sound, and you appeared out of nowhere.
ああ、迷いのある足音から大体の想像はついていたが。
What? How could you...
気配すら殺せていないし、かといって悪意もない。そして俺の後をつける正当な理由がないからこその戸惑いがにじみ出ていた。
He had analyzed all of that just from hearing my footsteps. The watch was indeed incredibly skilled.
この時間であれば誰にも見つからずに済むと思ったんだが。結局のところ、雪村君は一部始終を目撃したんだな。
Oh, well, I only saw you step inside this room.
十分だ。要件も要件だし、君に手を貸してもらおう。
Okay. What? Before I realized what he was doing, he grabbed my arm and pulled me inside. Are you sure this is all right? I don't know if I should be in here.
この件は口外しないでくれ。ある重要な機密に関することだ。
What? Maybe he was in the middle of some sort of background check on Okita as part of his responsibilities as a member of the watch. If that was true, then I definitely had stuck my nose in where it didn't belong. I'm sorry. I promise I won't tell anyone.
だから怯えないでくれ。誤解のないように説明するので、しっかり聞いてほしい。
Right.
俺は松本良順先生から頼まれて、この部屋を掃除しに来ただけだ。
Clean? My body sagged with sudden and overwhelming relief. That was all he was doing? Yamazaki's serious expression did not change, however.
これは幹部の中でもごく一部の人間しか知らないことだが、沖田さんはある病を抱えている。
Yes. It was true. I had overheard Okita and Matsumoto discussing his condition. Tuberculosis, a disease that infected the lungs and had no cure. The most common form of treatment for those diagnosed was to move them to a place with clean air in an effort to alleviate their condition. But Okita was a vital, irreplaceable member in the Shinsengumi, not to mention the fact that he also stubbornly refused to leave his fellow warriors. It made sense that Matsumoto would deem it important to keep his living space as hygienic as possible.
もちろん、埃の立つような掃除を本人にさせるわけにもいかない。しかし沖田さんはなぜか部屋を他人に掃除されるのがとても気に食わないらしい。だから留守を狙っていたのだ。この件についてはくれぐれも口外しないようにしてくれ。
Ah, okay, I understand now, but would it truly be okay to do this when he clearly doesn't want it? I don't think it's not that he doesn't want someone to do the work for him, but more that he doesn't want other people to see the inside. Yamazaki's eyes widened, and he snapped his eyes at me. The words tumbled out of his mouth.
いや、誤解しないでくれ。俺の目的はあくまで掃除だ。決して個人的な何かを盗み見るつもりはない。
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I'd never seen him so flustered. Regretting my words immediately, I did my best to backtrack. Oh, I mean, I wasn't doubting you, Yamazaki. It had never crossed my mind that you had other reasons to enter his room while he was out. Yamazaki? He frowned, his expression troubled. Perhaps a change in subject was in order. I thought for a moment. So, I was wondering, why didn't Dr. Matsumoto ask you in particular? The air was heavy with an awkward silence, but finally...
俺の実家は針と薬を扱っている。君のところとは逆で東洋医学だな。
Oh, really? He shrugged, his voice light and indifferent.
この経歴を見込まれたのか。松本先生、そして局長と副長から新選組の医療面を任されている。簡単な治療と衛生管理を行いつつ、沖田さんのことを気にかけるよう正式な任務が下されているんだ。
I appreciate you telling me all of this, Yamazaki. Thank you. I now understood the reason that he had hesitated. I bowed deeply to him in gratitude. Seeing as I wasn't a member of the Shinsengumi, he didn't have to take the time to tell me about himself. But he did, sharing a kind kinship with me. He was gambling with the risk of getting in trouble, and someone found out that I knew the details, and he still explained it all to me. I promise I won't share anything you just told me. So when you said that I could help you earlier, you meant with the cleaning. Then it shouldn't be a problem. I'm good at things like that. I'll do my best to help out.
ああ、よろしく頼む。
His lips curled up in a smile when I clapped my hands together enthusiastically. My heart warmed, and suddenly I was even more eager to do something for him. We could do this. Yamazaki and I set about dusting and cleaning the room with quiet efficiency. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.